Fortunately, we've had an injury-free state tournament so far, but we're going to talk a little bit about concussions because it's what everybody's talking about throughout sports. Joining us today, Dr. Joel Boyd from TRIA Orthopedic Center, also a team physician for the Vikings and the Wild and the Lynx. And Dr. Boyd, how big of an issue are concussions now, not just at the professional level, but throughout sports, youth sports, through the pros?
Well, it's an issue for sure. At least now with the media attention and with much more attention by the referees and the organizations, it is getting a lot more play so that parents are starting to understand it. And it's always been around, but we're now starting to get a little more understanding about the repercussions that happen with concussions and the kinds of things troubles that people have.
And Ben Clymer, you played at the high school level, the college level, and in the NHL for 8 years. You know that concussions, especially at the NHL level, are very prevalent.
I mean, right now they're in the news media every single day. And this week with Sidney Crosby getting cleared back to resume practice, I mean, more media attention and speculation will follow him into the playoffs. But, you know, we're really taking the stigma away from it right now, making it okay to have a concussion. Kids feel it's okay to speak up if they have a concussion, if they don't feel right, that it's not kind of that, gosh, I'm being a wimp today. It's okay to have a concussion, and we really need to take away that stigma.
And you were saying to Dr. Boyd earlier, it's good to see that they're doing the baseline testing first, and that's very important, isn't it? So that you know whether somebody has suffered a concussion and to what extent.
Well, it is. You know, oftentimes people will talk about having a person tested, but if they've not had a baseline, it's hard to have something to compare it. You don't have anything to compare it to. So getting baseline testing is important, and it's just one of the tools with regard to how we can manage or look at when kids are ready to return to play.
And Ben, you had a good analogy in terms of playing at the youth level and then high school, college, and NHL. Repeat that again, what that analogy is.
Well, really, it was like toy cars running into each other. As you get older, it's like bikes hitting each other. Then you got cars, and then you got semi-trucks hitting each other. At the NHL level, that impact is massive when you get hit. And if you get hit with your head down, it's lights out real quick. And that's something that the NHL's really tried to curb, but nonetheless, these players are big and strong.
And Dr. Boyd, back at the youth level, what role can parents play and coaches of these kids in preventing concussions and also making sure kids don't go back to play too soon?
Well, I mean, to dovetail on what Ben had to say, I mean, one man's concussion after a hit is another man's head bonk. So it's hard to classify every hit as, you know, one that can definitely lead to a concussion. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a daze for someone, and other times it really is just a glancing blow that, you know, makes them forget about what happened minutes before. So understanding the simple fact that that you can have these kinds of alterations in thinking. You can have headaches. You can have sleeplessness. These are all signs and symptoms that parents should be aware of, and they know their children the best. And so at every level, it's important.
All right, thank you for your time, Dr. Boyd. And I know you say err on the side of caution if you have any question at all. Yeah. Keep the kids off the ice.
That would be correct.
All right, thank you, Dr. Joel Boyd from TRIA Orthopedic. We'll be back in just a moment. Again, we've got an exciting game going here for our nightcap. Thief River Falls over New Ulm by 1. We'll be back in a moment.